tailgating. I'm Bruce. I'm with Daryl and Marcus, and I'm gonna ask y'all a question.
What you
And
got?
it was while I was looking up for this game, I looked at the Cowboy game. First week, yeah. Second week, what is this team? And I thought about what goes into making a championship team. I mean, I'm still my legacy and my Cowboys is like they would be the team. At least they'd be competitive in the running conversations. But they'll be in the Super Bowl. But that's long gone. And you look at the quarterback. So now Dak is the highest paid,
Yep.
and he has good stats in the season. And then you got this coach he's got good credentials. He's won a Super Bowl with another team. So I was thinking, and then I saw this thing pop up and was comparing Dak with Malone, right?
hmm
And during the season, they got the same stats. So my mind was thinking, okay, so does that mean that if Dak was in Kansas City, he would have 3 Super Bowls, and if Malone was in Dallas, it would be like run the guy out of town? I don't know. So I'm like, what's the ingredients that goes into a consistent team? Is it the quarterback? I mean, they'll all pay him so much, not just Dak, everybody. They get so much, like they're the key. So I looked up, and there's really not that many quarterbacks that have gone to multiple teams successfully, like Brady, of course, Manning. Craig Morton went to 2 Super Bowls. He lost both of them, but I mean, that's a success. Kurt Warner, of course, not many. And I looked at coaches, and there's quite a few that went to multiple teams, that did well. Dan Reeves, he had multiple super teams with Super Bowls. Don Shula, Bill
hmm
Parcells. But then there's others like, Bill Belichick retired. No one even wanted him. You know, anyway, I'm thinking, well, what is it? Is it just a team that somehow came together? And then I was thinking, is it the quarterback gets paid so much that they can't buy quality other players? And I don't know. So I was like, what do you guys think? I just thought you guys must have an opinion. What goes into making a quality team so we can tell Jared?
Systems and consistency.
Mm.
Systems and consistency. And it's interesting because with Brady, okay, just my humble opinion. I think Brady was brilliant at what he was doing, and honestly, I think he created that offensive system that he had there in New England. But Brady took that system to Tampa Bay. It was basically the same system. He was doing the same thing, and he didn't even have a squad to do it. In New England, he had superstars all around him. Star quality players all around him, and of course with Bill Belichick. Now that combination was pretty fancy. But like you're saying, after Brady left, what did Bill Belichick do? So I'm questioning this just like you. I mean, with Brady being the example of greatness, I'm doing the same thing. I mean, the offensive coordinator for Tampa Bay when Brady was there was Byron Leftwich. Where's he now? What
Yeah.
is he doing? You know, Bill Belichick's gone. We don't know where Leftwich is. I mean, what is the system? I mean, I don't what I mean, what is the system, but where are these people?
hmm
And now, if you remember, okay, if we could take the Super Bowl away and not say, okay, let's judge these systems based on winning seasons, winning teams, not necessarily winning the Super Bowl, then we can start calling out brilliant offensive coaches like like Kyle Shanahan. Kyle
mm
Shanahan to me is the biggest brain in football right now.
Right.
Defensive coaches like what's Baum's son name? Baum Phillips.
Phillips.
Phillips, yeah, Coach Phillips. Thank you, Coach Phillips. You did a great job in Houston, of all places. They
Yeah.
had the number one and number two defense, for a few seasons there. And my thing was always, if we could get Coach Phillips and Kyle Shanahan on the same team at the same time, that is the
Oh,
formula for Super Bowl. So, I mean, of course, it has to be a well-oiled machine. You can't have a mediocre defense and a great offense. You have to have two great offenses with two great systems in place so that they can do whatever it takes to win. because you're not gonna be able to do the same thing from week to week. There's adjustments. There's,
Yeah.
you have to call an audible on the whole game sometimes. And if you're not able to do that, you ain't gonna be able to win.
Yeah.
Well, you bring up Bum Phillips. I just remember he made that statement about Shula. Shula can take his team and beat your team, and then he can take your team, my team, and beat his team. And I'm thinking sometimes, it's a coach knowing his players well and not fully trying to take his system and shoehorn it in the guys that can't play it. He's more like, let me look at my guys and I'll go to their strength,
Mhm.
and all
Right.
that. And Troy Aikman had mentioned about Jimmy Johnson. I mean, he was tough and all, but he's very good at making you feel like, if you were on any other team, you would be the starter. You just happen to be behind, someone just greater, but you're great. So he made everyone feel great and scared, but great. What do you think, Marcus? Any thoughts?
I'm gonna try to tap into my inner Stephen A. Smith this morning. Okay. There are 5 key factors in terms of building a winning culture. Number one, you have to have strong leadership and ownership and management. Okay. Successful franchises have owners and frontline leaders who set a clear vision, provide the right resources, and hire the right people. They foster a winning culture from the top to the bottom, from the left to the right. That's number one. Number two, and we've talked about it just a few moments ago, elite coaching. A great coach not only understands the X's and the O's, but knows how to inspire people. They motivate, they get the best out of their players, and the ability to adapt, strategize, and create a cohesive team is essential to any winning culture. Number three, and we talked about this as well, having that franchise quarterback. So whether it's Patrick Mahomes or Dak Prescott, you have to have that, but you also have to have your key players. It's quarterback and your key players. In football, having a star quarterback is a key playmaker on both the offense and defense can elevate a team. They are the leaders, not only on the field, but even on the sidelines, right? They're capable of changing the games with their performance and leaderships. The fourth piece, it's the overall chemistry, right? The team
Yeah,
chemistry
yeah,
and
chemistry.
depth. Winning teams aren't about star players. They have depth across many positions and a strong sense of teamwork where everyone buys into whether they're on, lead singer or if they're on tambourine, everybody is bought into their role. And that
Yeah.
can be the difference in sustaining a successful culture throughout the entirety of a season. And the last thing, and that's why I'm rocking the blue today, baby. You have to have a passionate fan base and home field advantage. Loyal fans can energize a team. The Dallas Cowboys, we know this. They can energize a team and create an intimidating atmosphere for opponents, making home field advantage a critical factor in many teams' success, especially in the postseason. Now, here's the thing. Those are the 5 pieces. You have to look at them like a chain. If one part or one link of that chain isn't together, when you pull it, it's gonna break. And that's been the fundamental piece that has been missing from a lot of teams. When you see those special moments and times like right now, I think that's what the Kansas City Chiefs is all about. I think they have all 5 things that are revving at 90% or above. You're going to have a winning culture. Unfortunately, for my own quarterback, I think, listen, let's talk about it. They have strong leadership and management. I'd say it's questionable to a degree, but it's there. The coaching is there. They have a good quarterback. I think they're missing some key players, but I think what's really missing right now is the fourth thing I talked about, which is the chemistry and the depth. They don't believe in themselves. They have a bunch of individual players who believe that they are good. I think Dak is carrying an unprecedented weight on his shoulders because of the new contract and the expectations that come with that. But I don't think there's a synergy amongst that team right there. And that can be said by many teams across the
Yeah.
NFL. Now, home base, having the fans, that's there. We love our Cowboys, and I'm certain many team fans across the country love their teams. But if you don't have the right mixture, you can be over indexing in one and maybe slightly underperforming in one. But when it all balances out, right, and all nets out, it's got to equal 100% or greater. That's my take on it.
Wow, that's impressive.
Hey, tell me you didn't read this book.
I can't see that book. What is it called,
You
Daryl?
went
Bring
in
it
the
up a
locker
little.
room first.
You went in the
In
locker
the
room
locker room
first.
first. Yep,
You
there you
you
go. I see
sound
it.
like you sound like this book.
Okay.
This book.
I was ready for this conversation.
Yeah, yeah. He touched on that what you were saying about starting with the leadership all the way down to the guy who sweep the floors in the stadium. Everybody have to operate according to the same the same vision. And this coach wouldn't take this coach. This was written by Mike Smith of the Falcons,
Hmm.
and he wrote this book after they won the Falcons won the Super Bowl, right? Look, he said that you know he wouldn't even take the job unless they let him be somewhat of a business slash life coach to everyone in the organization. He
Wow.
wanted access to everybody, you know. So yeah, but that you sound just like this book, man. I don't know if anybody
I've
ever
seen
read
it.
this
I've seen it.
book.
I don't think I've
You've
read it,
seen
but
it.
I've seen it.
I'll
Yeah.
have to read that. I mean,
Amazing
it
book.
is like what Jimmy Johnson had. He had full control of everything, when he was here. But just to compliment what you're saying, I'm thinking, so here's old school stuff. I rooted for the Cowboys since 1960. When they had a little sign next to SMU and they had a little nothing office, and then they used to have their practice facility. There was like a Forest Lane and LBJ. And it was just a little thing. Everything though, just a little. By today's standards, it was just a shack, and it was outdoor weights and all that. But their focus. One thing was football. Everyone that went in there was football. When you go to the parking lot, it was football. Now I'm thinking that place they have now, it's glamorous. It's almost like you walk in there and they got the practice facilities for the cheerleaders. They have tours that are over here. They got a huge practice field over here. They got indoor. I mean, it's almost like you walk in there and you're Hollywood successful right away. The
Yeah.
glamour is all there, and I'm not sure how much is totally focused on football as opposed to the cowboy brand, which is a lot of entertaining things. So to me, the focus may have changed. Just to kind of compliment what you're saying,
Right.
that leadership is like, well, we're not just football, we're also,
Right.
it's kind of
They're in business. They're
diluted
looking
the
at it like a business.
mentality just a little bit. They don't have to work to get there. They walk in that place. And I would feel like, well, I'm already here.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I mean, there's probably some players around the league. They probably wouldn't admit this on camera, but they would probably want to be part of the Cowboys organization and playing for another team that maybe they have a chance of winning the Super Bowl ring, but just being in that atmosphere, you're right. When you go into that stadium, it's like you're going to a rock concert. It's the brand. It's bigger than football. That to me is our problem. We got to get back to basics and to the elementary pieces and components of just what does it take to win a football game, and you take it game by game by game. And everybody plays their part. Dak Prescott's on lead singer, but the person playing tambourine, they got to be on there. They got to be on it.
Be Nick Saban. Yeah, I watched one of his speeches, and he talked about how in his system, it doesn't matter who you are, what you did in high school, even what you did. You could be a 3-year starter on his team. That doesn't guarantee that you're going to be a starter the 4th year, because there are things that he hasn't have in place for everyone to follow, instructions for everybody. And if you cannot follow those instructions off the field, you cannot play on the field. So who he play and who he start supposedly had nothing to do with their talent or ability to get the job done on the field. It was off the field that he was more concerned about.
Wow.
Yeah, I like that. You got to learn how to follow before you can learn how to lead.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. Well, cool stuff. It just frustrates me to see the Cowboys. I'm worried about them again. Used to be always say used to go down the schedule and be like win, 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 win. You see, they'd win. They always win against the bad teams. But now
Well,
it's like,
no, if you remember last season, they had a fantastic season, but they lost what was it, game 2, and I can't remember exactly who it was against, but it was a game they were supposed to win, and then after that game, they
oh
got kind of
yeah,
a kick in the ass, and they actually stepped up. But you can do all the regular season is practice, right? It's all about getting into the Super Bowl.
Right.
That's the live show, right? So I go back to my 5 points, right? we have the Cowboys have got to take a look at themselves and understand they got the other four pieces there, right? It's that belief in themselves and the fact that everyone on that team knows their role. That's what's going to get them to the next level. Ultimately, if they want to win, sit their asses down. You know what they should do? They should go and rent out like an Alamo draft house and watch the fourth quarter of the Kansas City Chiefs game last week and watch how that team came back together to win that damn football game at the very last minute. That's a
that's
winning
true.
I can sense your animosity. Thank you for that.
Yeah, well, you over there wearing all that red, Toro. Come on now.
Hey, this is Aggie. This is
Oh,
Aggie,
okay. You
baby.
represented the ad. I'm
Okay,
sorry. I need to
okay.
adjust the hue on my screen. It's
Do
close to,
something.
Okay, well,
too
I think
close
we've
to
covered
red.
this one pretty well. I'm hopeful for the Cowboys, but that's just because I'm a Cowboy fan. But well, we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see next time.
Yeah, it's week 3. I mean, come on,
It's
y'all.
week. It's week three.
You know,
It's week three.
y'all. You know what? Y'all sound like the typical cowboy fan. And that's what aggravates me about this city.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna pop my collar
yeah,
on
yeah,
that one.
yeah. I mean, and I be talking to people all the time about football, and they swear, I know you don't know nothing about football. You never won nothing. Well, I mean, you ain't
Those that
either.
can't
To
teach,
tell the
man.
truth. You 25 years old, talking about I don't know what it's like to win. Win in 25 years, you won something and you a Cowboy fan? Come on, bro. Come
Yeah.
on.
Come on. No, I'm not. I'm not worried about them. I'm honestly, I'm not. Like I said, they literally had. This is a mirror of last season. Now, I hope the end of this season they step up and don't get blown out in the first round. But we'll see.
We'll see.
Y'all got PTSD, Cowboy
Yeah.
PTSD. Shame
Well,
on
I
y'all.
probably do. I probably do. You know, well, they won their first Super Bowl. I think they lost really bad against St. Louis Cardinals. You know, and then they went on and won the Super Bowl. So hopefully that's this year. Oh well, that's it for today, everybody. And make sure you like, subscribe, and make a comment down there. See if you, what's your opinion? What makes a good team? You know, is it just a group comes together, or is there another element? What do you think about the 5 points that Marcus brought up? You know, and read that book. We need to get a sponsorship from that book author, don't we?
Yeah. Nice plug, Daryl.
All right. Well, thanks everyone. See you next time.
All right. Take care.
See ya.